Did it? Hey, everybody. I know this is more of a random time. I'm going to be jumping on at random times. But I've talked about what I want to talk about today a little bit. I just didn't know. I forgot the name of it. And I just like, I always think something's so interesting. And then I can't ever like remember stuff. And I figured it out today. So I'm like, I'm going to talk about it before I forget about everything again. Hey, Cherry. So I'm like, I don't care if there's not many people that come on during this time. I think this is interesting enough to have up for people to watch back. So I just have to remember that if I lose my confidence a little bit, you guys, or Cherry, if it's only you, remind me. Don't lose your confidence, damn it. Get this story out. Because I'll read, I found a more simpler article that I felt like wasn't too intimidating for me to read through and get to the point of it all. Hey, Jesse, welcome in. But I'm gonna see if a few more people hop in before I start what I want to talk about. But it's just a practice that these monks had, and it's so extreme. And when I listened to it, I was watching it in a documentary when I heard it at first, and it made me sort of sad because it was like I looked up to to monks as being like, like these peaceful thing, people sitting in pain and stuff like that, and learning how to deal with it. And then to learn that they were chasing like Euphoria, the great Euphoria, I was like, what? Wait a minute. It sort of had my mind thinking differently. I'm eating strawberry and cream truffles waiting for the story. I gotta get some just regular chocolate truffles. I miss truffles. I'm eating leftover Chinese food. I didn't eat yet. I decided to hop on before I eat and take my meds just so I'll be a little bit more awake. Instead of just trying to read stuff with one eye open and stuff like that. But I'll probably like wait, I think like 10 minutes before I get into I can't pronounce what it's called, so that's why I'm like I'm not trying to be secretive or anything. When I start talking about what it is, I'm going to write in the chat the name of it because I don't want to butcher it. There's no way that I could even come close to saying it properly. So, like I said, like around the 10-minute mark, we'll start talking about what I want to talk about. See if anybody else hops in. But if it's just you two, that's fine with me too. I like getting out information when I want to talk about it, not when it's like convenient for like other people or anything. But so we could just chat about other things before I start this convo. What Chinese food are you eating, Jesse? I miss good Chinese food. I wish we had it some around here. I hope you guys find this story interesting. Like I said, I wasn't in a documentary a few years ago, and now I don't know what this ad is that's on here. But now I found an article that's more simple for me to read, not with complicated words. Hello, anybody out there? Did my chat freeze? Cherry? Oh no, you're there. Okay. I was wondering because Jesse didn't answer how. So you put hi, and the my phone put this. What the heck, YouTube? Come on. Hey, sweetums. Oh, veggie lo mein with white rice and tofu. Tofu. I said tofu. Tofu. I wanted to make chicken lo mein, but I don't know when I'm gonna cut my shit. Oh, every time you type, you accidentally swipe away. Uh, yeah. So I'll get to what I'm gonna talk about. Hopefully, you guys find it interesting. I know. I think I mentioned it before. But I just mentioned little bits and pieces because I can't remember anything. That's why I'm just reading from an article. This article might be simple to really what it is. So if you guys want to go off after I'm done and research it on your own, you might want to do that too. But I just wanted to do like a simpler version of it on here. I'm struggling with my keyboard today. I don't know why. Shoot, it might be just phones changing. Who knows? I've been seeing this symbol or whatever it is on more things now, so I don't understand. It's going to be some conspiracy theory eventually. I've always wanted to hear about monks. Yeah, I always looked up to them, especially when I started getting extreme pain that I had to deal with every single day, and I was just like, how much they sit with in meditation and stuff. Like I said, I really started my meditation like journey type thing like 7 years ago. Um, and so I really, looked up to them and what they did, and so when I heard about it did break my heart in a way because I'm like, oh, they're still chasing something that many of us do, like through drugs or the euphoria. It's like they were at peace, but they never stopped searching for something that would make them feel even better. And then they just took the extreme, and what they thought was is the prize at the end, is crazy. It is. You have to wait, sweetums. Don't get ahead of me, sweetums. You have to wait until I said the 10-minute mark. I'll put up what it's called, just in case anybody else comes in, so I won't have to start over again. But you have to wait, sweetums. But yeah, so I hope I I hope I do it justice. You guys just know I'm a novice at this for sure. And it's just something I found interesting, and like that's why I said you guys could go off and do more research if you wanted to, because a lot of the words get technical and stuff, and I didn't want to just discourage myself. So when I found a more simpler article on it, I was like, oh, I could read this. So um I've always wanted. Oh, I look forward to hearing about this. These are the extreme ones, though. Yeah, yeah. The others don't. No, the others. There's different practices amongst different monks. So I used to live near a seminary with monks. It was so cool. They were so nice. Yeah, you can have patience. We got this. Okay, time's up. Yeah. I know. When I heard that even like monks in certain areas were doing like meth and stuff, I got so sad. I'm like, no, not the monk community. But drugs come into every community. But this one's not about drugs, though. But it did make me sad when I heard that. So we have to wait 10 minutes before the big reveal. We got, what time? No, only now a minute away. Um, Sweet was just like, and then I'll type in what it's called because I am not trying to butcher this word. Are we there yet? You guys may learn some dang patience. I thought I was impatient. Let me get my water ready. It's not even a long article, but you gotta think about it. This is extreme. I watched a documentary once, and the monk was floating about 3 inches off the floor. Really? Did I see that one? Mm, I don't know if I saw. Did you see the one where the monk, Sweet of David Blaine? Did you see the one where the monk set himself on fire? Like he was basically he felt like that was his last day with his illness that he was battling. And he was older, so he battled the illness for as long as he can. And then he wanted to teach his students the ultimate lesson, on pain, which is not moving, stay in the meditative state. So he sat cross-legged, did the pose, sat in that pose around a bunch of his students and people, the other monks, and they set him on fire, and he burned to death. It's recorded, and he's burned to death, and he didn't move an inch. No matter what, he stayed in that position. It's sad to watch, but it's very interesting because he taught, and there were the people who were trying to, his students were running at him, like they didn't want it to happen or anything, but it's like he taught them like the ultimate lesson. Um, that was sad, I mean, it was empowering to watch, but it was really sad too. So they do go to, extremes. Um, Patience is the last one, not a zero patience. Dang, I heard death, but burning is so painful. Yeah, and they have it where, like I said, they have it documented. He did not move an inch the whole time, and basically his body only fell over when it was ashes. Like if you watch the video, it's like bones going over. He didn't budge. Yeah. All right. Let me type this out because I'm talking about another thing. Let me type the word out for you guys. The practice. This is a one word. And if you heard about it, Sweetums, be quiet. Let me read this article. Because Sweetums gonna be like, that's what I was talking about. It's this and that. And no, Sweetums. No, it does not begin with a T. uh, Let me make sure I got it in there right. All right. So that's what it's called. Let me see if I can. I'm going to pin it so people know what I'm talking about. Refer to the pin. You could tell them, or yeah, just refer to the pin. That's what it's called. You don't gotta say anything else because we're gonna talk about side convos here, people. Um, if I'm reading something, I'm not gonna answer. I'm gonna read the whole thing through, then answer something if it gives me the answer. But you guys know to like hold conversations until it's over, besides maybe a reaction or something, because I won't be able to really respond. And then if somebody's talking about something else that doesn't have to do with this, it's kind of disrespectful. So respect the side convo rule. I appreciate people that listen. Like that's not funny to me. Like I take that seriously. So do I put that into Google? No, wait till I say something. Wait till I talk about it. If you guys want more information after I talk about it, then that's for you guys to do it. But I just want to talk about it first. Because I've known about this for years, and it's like I get to talk about it finally, and I found a simple article. So, are you guys ready? Oh yeah, you could do a search afterwards. So yeah, because I think a lot of different articles tell something more than, like the articles are simple. You can find much more. Like this practice was 3,000 days, you guys. 3,000. That's how long the whole ritual was. So there's way more that they don't tell you that other things fill in. So if you do want to look it up after, that will give you more information than what this one article does. All right, we're excited. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna start reading now. Let me get to the beginning. So So it's just that word. It's and it says how Buddhist monks spend years mummifying themselves alive. A Japanese tradition dating to the 11th century. There goes that word. I'm not gonna say. Is a year long process where Buddhist monks slowly mummify themselves before death. Between the year I don't even know how to say it. Was it 1081? I don't know, or 1903. Around 20 living. I don't. If I pronounce words wrong, it's just not ignorant. I mean, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but I think it's Shijun. Monks successfully mummify themselves in an attempt at what that lovely word is that I'm going to keep on saying. Or beginning a Buddha in this body. That's what it stands for. Through a strict diet foraged from the nearby mountains of Jua, Japan, the monks worked to dehydrate the body from the inside out, ridding the self of fat, muscle, and moisture before being buried in a pine box to meditate through their last days on earth. Okay? So the beginning, they're starting strictly from a diet foraged. Where it will show you what the diet is, and then the end, they get to where they're final mummification in a box. And this takes 3,000 days from day one, finish to end. It is 3,000 day long. Okay, so think about that. While this event may seem particular to Japanese monks, many cultures have practiced mummification. This is because of Ken Jeremiah. Oh no, who cares? I don't want to. Many religions around the world recognize the imperishable corpse as a mark of exceptional ability to connect with a force which transcends the physical realm. So that's what they're trying to chase. Like, they're like, forget living. I'm going to do this process. So their ultimate goal is to be like glorified as, look at this. I mummified myself while I was alive. And that's something, like I said, that transcends anything we would know in the physical realm. While not only religious sects to practice mummification, the Japanese Shingon, I'm gonna say monks of, oh my gosh, Yamagata are among the most famous to practice the ritual, as several of their practitioners successfully mummified themselves while still alive. Okay, seeking seeking redemption for the salvation of mankind. Monks on a path towards that word believe that this sacrificial act. Okay, let's get to what the heck. Why can't I find the first thing? They keeps on saying the same thing. I'm trying to read what I started on. Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna keep on reading the same thing over and over. What the heck? It says, in order to begin the self mummification process, the monks would adopt a diet known as, I'm not going to butcher this word, but it means tree eating. So basically, they're foraging through nearby forests. Practitioners would eat only the tree root, or if there were nuts and berries on the tree and tree bark. So they can't eat anything other than what's off of these trees, which involved the root of the tree, the nuts, the berries, the tree bark, and the pine needles. This was all they were allowed to eat. Okay, and then there's a source that says even when they couldn't fill up on that, their stomachs still felt empty, so they would swallow rocks to try to make their stomach feel full. So they would have rocks in their stomachs. You know, so yeah, the extreme diet served two purposes. First, it began the body's biological preparation for mummification, as it eliminated any fat and muscle from the frame. It also prevented future decomposition by deriving the body's naturally occurring bacteria of vital nutrients and moisture. So this is the beginning of the mummification from the start, just with the diet they have. It's starting to dry them out from the inside out. On a more spiritual level, the extended, isolates quest for food would have a hardening effect on the monk's morals, disciplining him and encouraging contemplation. So they're studying discipline too with the this diet. The diet would typically last for 1,000 days, you guys. 1,000 days of this. Though some monks would repeat the course 2 or 3 times to best prepare themselves for the next phase. So imagine that you do it 1,000 days, and then you're going to do it another 1,000 days and another 1,000 days because you just don't feel prepared for the next step. To begin the embalming process, monks may have added a tea brewed of urishi, I think, the sap of Chinese liquor tree, as it would render their bodies toxic to insect invaders after death. So basically, they're drinking this tea so that if bugs or anything tried to touch their body, they want their body to be nothing, like just fresh and no bugs bites, nothing on it. They just so even this, they're poisoning themselves so that they poison insects after while they're dying and after their death. At this point, not drinking anything more than a small amount of salinized water, the monks would continue with the meditation practice. As death approached, the devotees would rest in a small, tightly cramped pine box, which fellow votaries would lower into the ground. So, this is your grave basically. You're lowering it into the ground about 10 feet below the Earth's surface, equipped with a bamboo rod as an airway. So you're lowered in a box, and the only airway you have 10 feet up, it connected to it, is freaking, uh, what is it? What is it? The bamboo rod. The bamboo rod is the only airway you have. So the airway, then monks covered the coffin with charcoal, leaving their buried monk a small bell which he would ring to notify others that he was still alive. For days, the buried monk would meditate in total darkness and ring the bell. When the bell stopped ringing, above ground monks assumed the underground monk had died. They would proceed to seal the tomb, where they would leave the corpse to lie for another 1,000 days. So after they stopped hearing the bell, because the bell was ringing every day when the monk's alive, meditating. So once they don't hear the bell anymore, they're like, okay, he died, and then 1,000 days later, they'll go into the grave. After unearthing the coffin, followers would inspect the body for signs of decay. If the bodies had stayed intact, monks believed that the deceased had practiced this ritual. They practiced it the right way, and would thus dress the bodies in robes and place them in the temple for worship. Monks gave those showing of decay a modest ritual. A modest burial. So the final thing is, you guys, the final thing they were reaching, their euphoria basically is they got mummified with no like what's the word I'm looking for? They were preserved just 100% with like no damn it, somebody give me the word. It's like, isn't it like I'm trying to think of the good word for it. It was like the preservation had to be perfect. No bug bites, not any sign of decomposition. If they felt like there was any rotted part on there, they were like, no, the monk didn't do the practice like they were supposed to. So they just gave them a modest burial. But the one that was preserved 100% intact, they dressed them up and put their bodies on display forever. So they got the ultimate euphoria. The ones that's what they were after, to have their mummified bodies put in the temple on display forever. That was their end goal. The ones that didn't follow it strictly and that had a little bit of decomposition shown, they were sort of like rejected and just had modest burials. So is it remarkable? Their bodies had to be remarkable, something like that. I'm looking for. I wish they would say that. I don't know why they don't put a word in there. Wrapping is usually done. No, but there was no wrapping or anything. This was. That's why I said it was mummified from the inside out. That's why they felt like if there was anything that showed decomposition, they were like, no, we're not using this. Yeah, pure. I don't know why they didn't use, but yeah. So their bodies had to be perfect, or they just got buried. Um. So it said the first attempt. I don't know if this is, but that's pretty much the nitty gritty of it. That's what I wanted you guys to know, like what they went through. 3,000 days of this, and then some attempted that first stage, the 1,000 days of eating tree bark and everything, 3 times over. So they spent 5,000 really days trying to get to that. That's a lot. The first attempt took place in what, however you would say 1081. I can't think about that in my head. 1081. I don't know, but it ended in failure. Since then, 100 more monks have attempted to reach salvation by self mummification, with only around 2 dozen succeeding. So out of about 100 more tried it, and only 2 dozen succeeded in the mission. Everybody else just got their modest burial. But it says these days no one practices the act of it. It said the government criminalized it in 1877. So the last monk died of it, did so illegally, passing years later in 1903. And it says his name was Buka. Is Bukkai. That was his name. Bukkai. And it tells where he rests and stuff like that. If you guys want to look up that stuff, but um, yeah, that was pretty much it. That's, like I said, you guys could look up the, if you want to know more, because the documentary I had a lot more in it, but it's very interesting to know that, like I said, monks promote peace, and that's a lot of where I got my, like I said, meditation and peace and stuff, and I still do. But for them to chase it and go through such extremes just to their day, to be mummified and be displayed, like that's wild to me. Pure, nothing impure, yeah. Yep, they couldn't have nothing on them. Not a bug bite, not anything. It is considered criminal if they do this as a belief into, yeah, now, not that back then though. Back then it wasn't. And they're Buddhists, yes. So if you guys want it, like I said, isn't it interesting? At least I know it might have not. I wasn't a professional, but it interests you enough. Like if you guys do want to go search it up afterwards, I know you might get more out of it. Like I said, I know I got more out of it with the documentary, but that article covered the act of it. Did you guys find this interesting or not? This was intense. Can you imagine the mindset? Exactly, you had to be to accomplish this. Oh my God, I'm shook to the core. That's wild and so interesting. Now I have to look into this more. Yeah, It definitely had my mind go to other levels of like, damn, what people strive for, and they think that it's glory and this glorious thing, and the you know to the end, like, I want to be the best, I want to be this mummified. Look at all they went through just to be displayed. It's like, throw me in the burial somewhere. I don't need to do it, but I respect it to the fullest too, though. um I don't think so. Or what? They are Buddhist monks. You are going to deep dive this for days. Hopefully, you can find a documentary on it. More stories like this. I think this is the most one of the most intense stories. Maybe I could find an article on the other monk that well, I was talking about how he burned him. Set himself on fire. Uh, Maybe I can find that one. I keep thinking about swallowing rocks and all that, and then breathing through the bamboo tube like, oh my god, yep. And waiting for the bell to ring, yeah. Well, waiting for the bell to stop ringing, and then waiting 1,000 days after that so that the body could be fully mummified. Just imagine meditating 10 feet underground, and every day you're like, let me ring this bell for my people to know I'm still alive, but still in straight, deep meditation, while you're dying, and then, what? That's just a lot. No, thank you. I don't want to, no part of eating trees and none of that. And then the tea they drink, though, the tea they drink was so, it didn't describe it in this article, but they would threw up for days on end. All it was basically dehydrating them. It was taking everything out of their body, all any form of liquid. So it's not like they were trying to hydrate themselves, they were trying to dehydrate themselves the whole process. So the tea, it didn't really mention, that they were throwing up all the time, and that was to accelerate it. It wasn't, there was no hydration going back in. The bell, the bell would haunt me so bad if I were one of them. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. That just it's deep for sure. That's deep, deep meditation. I don't know how they did it. Oh, exactly. I would panic from the thought of them closing the box on me. That would have been it. Much less lower me 10 feet underground and then burying it and all that. If it makes me skinny, shoot. That's more than makes you skinny. That's killing you. I'm just surprised they didn't die in the malnutrition. I'm sure a lot of people did. They're not going to talk about that part because was it made illegal? I'm sure a lot of people did. Skinty queen, no, dead queen. Remember, that's what it is. It's not. I'm sure they were skinty before they even started the whole process. You thinking dead queen? I'm surprised they could convince this many people to even. I don't think it's a. I don't think somebody convinced them of it. I think they were on this search. Like I said, it's a search for you for the ultimate euphoria. It's like they're chasing something. Just like it's just like they mustn't have felt fulfilled. They thought there was always something that could feel better, something that could feel more, the ultimate thing. And then also, they wanted to be displayed. I don't think people had to talk them into it. I think they had ego. I think they wanted, like I said, they were chasing something more. Like a lot of us, you're chasing something more. You want to feel better. Maybe peace isn't peace. Maybe there isn't. Maybe there is never a day where you actually do feel okay. Just because you're peaceful, maybe they, like I said, they kept on searching. So they had to do this huge thing in order to so called reach what we haven't reached as humans, which is something after death, you know. That's why I said it just means it's just so much. There's so much that goes into it. I agree with Trey. I would love more stories. It could be more a series you do. It gets you thinking, and now I'm super curious to learn more. Yeah. I'm on live. Is that the baby coming in? Hold on, you guys. You want me to push mute or something? Or just saying hi to baby? Hi, baby. Hi there, baby. You woke up from your nap. Oh, you look so much refreshed. Less grumpy. Look at those cheeks. Hello. Oh, how you doing? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. You're so cute. Your mama's still there. She ain't leaving you. Yeah. You'll say hi to the people? I knew that would stop him from talking. Well, I tell him to say hi, he stops talking. Oh, you done talking? What's that? What you smacking for? What? See, I'm walking all over the place now. And he's 10 months, right? See, I walked at 10 months. Yeah. Oh no, we put your face on the cover. That's not gonna taste good. He's like, what is that? Oh, yeah. He knows she's like, that phone's lit up. Alright, baby. I'll see you later, baby. I'll see you later. Alright, I'm back from the baby break. Let's see. Maybe it's kind of chasing immortality if they knew your mummified body would be on display. Yeah. It's definitely chasing something, you know, and it's kind of scary because I feel like I'm always searching for some, like, where's the peace? What's it gonna feel like? When's it gonna feel like peace? I've been a peaceful ass person, you know, but I'm like, you might not ever. Peace might feel totally different than what we think it is, you know. It's so cute. Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, you said baby fever. He's advanced at 10 months. Yep, he's walking around like he knows the place now. So, yeah. But I do want to, like I said, these are like the little stories I want to talk about. I want to talk about a lot of haunted stuff. I just got to find like the right articles that, a lot of articles left out a lot of the stuff that they described. That was kind of weird. So, um, I just got to find articles that have as much information as I know I have in my brain. That's about, so I could like add a little, you know, side convo to it. Story time and baby time after Girl Unsold. Yeah, I didn't know he was gonna be coming in. I just wanted to. And that's another thing. I think my things are gonna be random if I do talk about stuff because I don't want it. I feel like when I plan something out, it's sort of self sabotage where I'll give up because I'll feel too I feel like I'm not like with whatever disabilities I have as far as learning and stuff like that. I feel like I'm not good enough to discuss something, or I don't have the right words to discuss it. So this was me like jumping on in the middle of fearing that I might say the wrong thing or pronounce something wrong and everything. And I just had to really just jump on and say, "Hey, I want to get this out. Maybe people are interested." So, I did the best I could. I hope people appreciate, what I could get out there. And then like I said, I tagged the word in there so you guys could look it up on your own, and anybody that watches back if they want more information. Um I just hope that you enjoyed this. So, hey Diane, you did a great job. Thanks. I know I was like stopping on some words because like I don't want to ever feel like I'm disrespecting um anybody when I talk about these things, any culture, anything. Period. You did really good. Even if you pronounce something wrong, you've given us the info so we can research after hearing the story from you. I really loved and appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse. I didn't even know you had the fear. You always come across as confident and articulate. Girl, yeah, thank you for saying that. But yeah, my sister pushed me. She's like, just do it. Just do it. And I'm like, damn it, okay, I gotta do it now. I'm gonna do it. And she's like, okay, well, we're gonna do it then. Because I was like, if I was doing too much research, I would have gave up. I just overwhelming to try to get it all right. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I said, Cherry, I texted her the word. I was like, how do you pronounce this? And then she sent me the right way to say it. I was like, oh, that makes it worse. I'm like, no, I'm like, I'm just going to tag the word. Yeah. Like I said, I hope for me, the most I got out of it was some documentary that I can't find. Um, and that just, it broke down the process, each process, way more than you'll find in the articles and stuff. Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, then you want to get past the first 1,000 days. They said that's where most of the people failed, of course. They couldn't get over the starvation part of it. And that's brutal. Like I said, I know starvation for many years of my damn life, so I could understand. And then to go as far as the rocks, yeah. Tragically beautiful, exactly. That's and then it's like they had a choice. They weren't forced into it. This is something they wanted to reach. I want to make it past the first hour. Yeah, I want to either now as an adult that gets food every day. But as a child, I would have probably gave them a little run for their money. I would quit on day two. Yeah, for me, hunger, I bypassed hunger because hunger for me isn't my first initial response of I have to eat just because of not being able to eat as a kid. My hunger is like where your body gets to the starving level. Not tech, no, I'm sure it's not technically starving, but I bypass hunger. It's when I feel my nutrients leaving my body. It's when I feel that I need, oh, my medicine, I gotta get my medicine, gotta be taken at the same time. When I feel the effects from that, that's what I call hunger, which is bad. But it's like it has to get to extreme level every day for me to then to eat. So just because of how your body trains yourself when you're little and you're not eating, I never broke that. It's just still stays with me. So you make it day two, you're strong. Yeah. For me, I'd be like, I gotta at least have some water. You can't, like more water than they were given. And then to go through that extreme just to go through the starvation process, all that for 1,000 days just to drink tea for it to get out of anything else. If that tree bark and those berries gave you any nutrients, well, the next stage too is to drink tea that takes all that nutrients out because your organs and everything have to be mummified. I don't have reliable hunger cues. Yeah, like I said, I go to the point where I make myself sick every day and then I'll eat. If my daughter cooks dinner or something, or I cook dinner, that's usually earlier in the day. But if I have to rely on my lovely yucky frozen dinners, I'm like, ugh, I get sick and then eat. I think I'm pretty good if it's a full dinner. I don't do as bad as eating later. Uh, they had to be so painful, so the meditation had to react really distract their minds. Shoot, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but still, that's extreme. The whole time you were talking about them being dry, I kept thinking of Gina and how she would rock this. Yeah, true. But that would have been a lovely side convo that I'd probably been like, up hell no. Not during the reading, but after I probably would have laughed. But I am going to make this one shorter because I wanted to get on when I was awake and not, when I take my medicine, it's sleeping medicine. So if it starts working, like I said, I go on these last couple of lives, I'm halfway to sleep, now. So I just wanted to come on when I was a little bit more, had a little bit more energy and tell you this and then hop out. Wait. It's hard when you don't know where your next meal is coming from. And as a kid, I never knew. So for years, I had a food addiction. And I think that's for me. It's snacks. Like I have to have. I worry about the food too. Like it has to be in the house for my one meal. But snacks, I start freaking out of. I'm almost like I'm gonna run out of snacks. I'm gonna run out of snacks. I know that is horrible. And then when I was going shopping and stuff, if I didn't, I always got snacks. If I didn't have money for snacks, that would make me depressed, So I know that's a bad thing. So I feel you on that, Diane, for sure. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this live and more random lives to come. um, yeah, that's about it. So we could still talk about this topic if you guys found out like in additional things and stuff like that. Because like I said, I think the documentary had a lot more in it. But I just don't know how to say it. Just know that, and I'm not gonna learn how to say it. So I might hop on later if I'm awake later on. But if I'm not, at least I got this one out to you guys. And whoever wants to replay, please hit that like button or leave a comment so I know that you guys are enjoying this too. Thank you. This was fun. Very enlightening. There was 13 kids and 2 adults in our house. No, my house was 10, 10 kids and 2 adults. So you got one up on the kids. We had 10. But yeah, that's a lot for sure. We had more than 2 adults at sometimes though, so that was the sucky part. I googled what the mummies look like, and it's something to behold. Oh yes, you guys definitely, definitely. If you don't want to do any more research on it, at least research how they got displayed. The ones that made it through true mummification to their standards. Look at the ones on display. Uh, if you don't want to read up anymore. All right, you guys. Like I said, I'll be on later if I'm up, but if I'm not, I'll find another time to go on. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you next time.